This is Korea News for April 5, 2022. Difficulties are expected before the relocation of President-elect Yoon Seok-yeol's office in Yongsan. This is because the Moon Jae-in government expressed disappointment in the handling of the reserve funds at the cabinet meeting on the 5th, citing the security issue. The reserve for the relocation of the presidential office to Yongsan has emerged as a new primer in the conflict between the old and the new. President-elect Yoon Seok-yeol's side is setting aside 49.6 billion won for the cost of relocating to Yongsan, and demanding that the Moon Jae-in government provide it in the form of a reserve fund. However, the Blue House and the government are planning to implement a reserve fund worth 31 billion won soon, excluding the cost of relocating the Joint Chiefs of Staff, which may cause a security vacuum. According to an exclusive report by the Kookmin Ilbo on the 5th, a key official of Yoon-elect's side said, 31 billion won is not enough regarding the size of the reserve on the 4th. He said. He continued, it can only be seen as the Blue House intentionally spreading rumors of 30 billion won support and continuing to obstruct the relocation of the office. According to previous reports, the Blue House plans to decide on a preliminary budget of 31 billion won within this week at the earliest. The 31 billion won is the amount after subtracting 11.8 billion won for the relocation of the Joint Chiefs of Staff from the 49.6 billion won for the relocation costs requested by the elected party. Regarding this, an official from the elected party emphasized to the Kookmin Ilbo, there is talk of handling the 31 billion won reserve fund first, but it is absolutely unacceptable. Kun-hee, senior deputy spokesperson for the Presidential Transition Committee, also met with reporters on the same day and said, the amount we requested from the Blue House and the current government for the cost of moving the office was 49.6 billion won from the beginning. It is unlikely that the Blue House will provide all of the 49.6 billion won. An official from the Blue House said, there is no change in the principle that it is difficult to execute the reserve for parts that may impair security. Some politicians are concerned that the conflict between the two sides, which had subsided after the dinner meeting between Moon Jae-in and President-elect Yoon on the 28th of last month, will rekindle as the Blue House and President-elect Yoon run parallel lines over the size of the reserve. Initially, it was speculated that the government would introduce a preliminary budget agenda at the cabinet meeting presided over by President Moon Jae-in on the 5th, but it was postponed. An official from the Ministry of the Interior and Safety said on the afternoon of the 4th, there are matters that need to be reviewed regarding the reserve, so it is difficult to deal with them immediately. Meanwhile, Moon Jae-in said, I think the next government will decide on the location of the relocation of the office, Moon Jae-in said at a dinner with President-elect Yoon at a Blue House dinner with President-elect Yoon on the 28th of last month. Has stated that President-elect Yoon had a luncheon with 9 members of the party at a restaurant in Seocho-gu, Seoul on the same day, and emphasized the importance of relocating the office, saying, the government has recognized the necessity of moving the Blue House. A lawmaker who attended the luncheon explained, President-elect Yoon first spoke about the relocation of the office and expressed his will. Before taking office on May 10, Yoon announced that he would not enter the Blue House even if he could not move all his offices to the Ministry of National Defense. The reason for mentioning the field tent seems to be to emphasize the will to keep the promise to open the Blue House regardless of the schedule for the relocation of the office. The government will prioritize 31 billion won of the total budget of 49.6 billion won suggested by Yoon-elect within this week. As President Moon Jae-in has been emphasizing tight security during the regime change period, the cost of relocating the Joint Chiefs of Staff is excluded so as not to interfere with the ROK-US joint exercise. However, the first reserve fund will not be put on the agenda at the cabinet meeting presided over by President Moon on the 5th. After the meeting of related organizations held on the same day, the Ministry of Public Administration and Security said, there was a consensus that additional practical reviews and confirmations of security-related risk management systems were necessary, and as soon as the review is completed, the reserve funds will be processed through an ad hoc meeting of the government as soon as possible. We plan to do it, he said. 9 out of 10 Koreans chose the United States as the top priority partner country for the new government. In addition, it was found that they wanted to improve Korea-Japan relations, to join an unofficial Security Council of 4 countries, the United States, India, Japan, Australia, and China in a step-by-step quadrant. According to the results of a survey of 1,000 people by the National Federation of Entrepreneurs on the 4th, 86.8% chose the United States as the country that the new government should cooperate with first. It was followed by North Korea at 5%, China at 3.2%, EU at 2.1% and Japan at 1.4%. The people decided that South Korea should cooperate more closely with the United States and Japan than with North Korea, China, and Russia in the fields of economy, diplomacy and security. In the economic field, 68% of the respondents said that the United States and Japan should strongly cooperate. 27.7% said they maintained strict neutrality, and 4.3% said they cooperated closely with North Korea, China, and Russia. In the field of diplomacy and security, 69.5% of the respondents said that the United States and Japan should cooperate closely. Maintaining complete neutrality was 24.4%, and cooperation with North Korea, China, and Russia was 6.1%. 77.1% of the respondents gave a positive evaluation of the new government's policy direction to prioritize foreign countries in the Quad. With regard to the Quad membership, the most answered, 69%, that the participation in the current vaccine field working group should be promoted in stages, such as expanding to the climate change and new technology working group, etc. On the other hand, 84.9% of the respondents pointed out that the Korean government should express its stance on major conflict issues even if it experiences short-term difficulties in Korea-China relations. A photo of President-elect Yoon Seok-yeol's wife Kim Gun-hee in comfortable everyday clothes with a police dog was released the day before, and the 30,001 white slippers worn by Mrs. Kim became a hot topic, causing some online sales sites to sell out. As such, the casual and frugal attire surrounding Mrs. Kim is drawing attention, and some seem to be recalling the clothing controversy surrounding Mrs. Mrs. Kim was recently spotted by her neighbors in a relaxed and modest appearance near her home in Seocho-dong, Seocho-gu. Instead of the black suit she wore while standing in public, she was embracing the explosives detection dog of the police commando who was guarding her in an informal hoodie and blue skirt. She said that day, Mr. Kim showed her friendliness when she approached the police dog naturally and said she is so cute that I want to sleep with him. When her photos were released, interest in her fashion items worn by Ms. Kim grew online. In particular, it became a hot topic as the product, which is believed to be the slipper he was wearing, was known for about 30,000 won. Kim's fan club supporters shared information on slippers sold at about 30,000 won, and responded such as I want to buy it too, but it's already sold out on some sites, sold out girl and frugal. In fact, major sizes are sold out on some sites. Then there was a reaction that they would buy slippers with a similar design. Earlier, at the time of the early voting, Kim also became a hot topic by wearing a scarf estimated to be 20,000 won. Among the supporters, there was also an argument that Kim wore clothes from 10 years ago. This contrasts with the situation of President Moon's wife, Kim, who is suffering from measles due to the recent clothing price controversy. In June 2018, the Blue House rejected a request from the civic group Korea Taxpayers Federation to disclose information about the president's special expenses and Kim's ceremonial expenses, saying, there is a risk of harming important interests, including sensitive matters, such as national security. Afterwards, the Korea Taxpayers Federation filed an administrative lawsuit, and the 5th Administrative Division of the Seoul Administrative Court ruled that it was illegal to disclose the expenses of the First Lady, etc. The Blue House appealed, saying it could not accept this. On the 29th, the Blue House officially refuted the allegation that Kim's special activity expenses were used to purchase Kim's clothes, saying that it was a baseless claim. Recently, the Seoul Metropolitan Police Agency assigned a case to the Anti-Corruption and Public Crime Investigation Team in the case of a civil group, the People's Livelihood Countermeasures Committee, on the 25th of last month, in which Ms. Kim was accused of embezzlement and a teacher who violated the act on the aggravation of specific crimes. The police are expected to decide whether or not to transfer the case after examining the facts and whether there is any illegality, and whether or not the high-ranking public officials are subject to investigation. Former Justice Minister Cho Kook and her daughter Jo Min are expected to receive a preliminary administrative decision on the 5th to cancel admission to the medical school of Pusan National University. Pusan National University announced that the related deliberation was scheduled at the faculty meeting this afternoon. 32 people, including the president, college dean, and university headquarters staff, will attend the faculty meeting. It is known that if there is no disagreement at the faculty meeting, a conclusion will be reached immediately. Pusan National University appointed an outside person as the hearing host for the hearing procedure prior to the faculty meeting. Recently, all hearing-related procedures have been completed, and only the decision of the faculty meeting remains as the hearing chairperson submitted the hearing statement to the university headquarters. An official from Pusan National University said, "We will issue a statement based on the results of the academic meeting. If Jo Min's admission cancellation is confirmed on this day, Jo Min's medical professional qualifications will be forfeited." Thank you for watching today. Please like and subscribe.